How big is Porsche, and how do they own VW, the largest automaker in the world? The prestigious car brand Porsche has made significant impacts in the world of automobiles. Its high-performance engine emits a distinctive sound that exudes power and dynamics. Established in 1931 by Ferdinand Porsche and Anton Pirch, while Volkswagen was founded by the German Labour Front in 1937, the history of the two companies is intricate and could fill many pages throughout history. Ferdinand Porsche was a renowned designer. Porsche has produced iconic sports cars such as the 356 and the 911. So in today's video, we aim to understand, why is Porsche technically two different companies? There is Porsche, the manufacturer of automobile, and there is Porsche SE, the holding company. How did Porsche become part of Volkswagen in 2012? And who's the true owner of Porsche? Is it indeed VW? What's the difference between Volkswagen AG and Volkswagen the Group? So in today's video, we aim to understand these topics and to answer these questions. Let's begin with Volkswagen. Volkswagen AG is a holding company, which also serves as the parent company for Volkswagen Group. The group itself is responsible for creating both vehicles and components for various brands within the group. To simplify this, Porsche SE, the holding company, owns Volkswagen AG, a holding company of its own. So to break it down even more, Porsche SE, which is the holding company, owns Volkswagen AG. Volkswagen AG owns Porsche, the automotive, and Volkswagen, the automotive. Together they control a mountain of additional car brands. So technically yes, Porsche does own Volkswagen. In 2011, a merger occurred between Porsche and Volkswagen, with Porsche AG, the automotive company, becoming a subsidiary of Volkswagen AG, the parent company. And vice versa, Porsche SE, the holding company, owns Volkswagen AG, which is itself a holding company of Porsche, the automotive cars. This can quickly get confusing. So therefore, from their perspective, Volkswagen AG can be considered the owner of Porsche Automotive. However, it's worth noting that Porsche SE also holds a majority of shares in Volkswagen AG. The conclusion is quite simple. Who sits at the top of the table? Well, it's the Porsche holding company. They own the Volkswagen holding company and the Volkswagen Automotive, and the Porsche Automotive all underneath the Volkswagen holding company, which is then owned by the Porsche holding company. So how do we make sense of this? In 1969, Porsche and Volkswagen joined force to create the VW Porsche 914 and its counterpart the 914-6. One featured a Volkswagen engine while the other boasted a Porsche engine. 7 years later, these two companies collaborated once more to release the Porsche 912e and subsequently the Porsche 924. This came after 4 years of Volkswagen persistent efforts to acquire the company, ultimately securing a 49.9% ownership. The resolution of this deal concealed a continuous battle for control between both parties, resulting in Volkswagen emerging as a dominant force. But how can this be? At the end of the day, Porsche SE, a holding company, owns 31% of Volkswagen's share and a majority stake of 43.3% in voting rights, whilst Volkswagen the automaker owns Porsche Automotive, a separate company from Porsche SE. Investing can quickly become a complex world, where Company A holds shares of Company B, who in turn holds shares of Company C, which then has a ownership in Company A, which can be difficult to decipher the intricate ownership structure of companies, with the Volkswagen-Porsche arrangement being particularly convoluted. So here's an interesting fact and Easter egg. Porsche AG, a significant brand within the Volkswagen Corporation, contributed $5.5 billion to the company's 2021 operating profit of $21 billion. That is operating profit. So essentially that's over 25% of operating profits, all coming from Porsche in 2021. Now, Porsche's AG and VW's history. The ownership structure of the car brand can be fascinating, and there are many others that are quite similar. BMW owns Rolls-Royce and Mini. Daimler owns Mercedes and Mercedes owns Smart. Geely owns a little bit of Smart, and they also own Volvo and Polestar. Now VW, on the other hand, the Volkswagen Group, they are a giant. They're known for owning VW Automotive, Audi, Lamborghini, Porsche Automotive, Bentley, Bugatti, Rimac, Skoda, Seat, Cupra. And another on the list which surprised a lot of people is Ducati, the bike manufacturer. No other car brand in the world is set up this way. And it's getting to the point where if Volkswagen and Porsche continues to acquire new companies, it would certainly cast shadows of doubt over the company's transparency and whether or not the company is becoming a monopoly. But that is another story for another time. So since Porsche AG is known as the subsidiary of Volkswagen, which in turn is the subsidiary of Porsche SE, the holding company, the legal complexities and corporation history that has led to this arrangement were both challenging and intricate for those curious about the industry. So a little backstory teaches us one key factor to understand is that both have controversial history. Founded in 1937 in Berlin, Volkswagen is associated with dark history of the Hitler regime. Intriguingly, Volkswagen was originally a government project that aimed at making affordable cars for the everyday family in Germany. However, due to the distractions of World War II and subsequent shifts in ownerships, it didn't until 1945 when Volkswagen ended up under the control of the Western German country's government. Now in all of this, here comes along Ferdinand Porsche. In 1960, Germany made the decision to prioritize Volkswagen, a government project. The company would now operate as a private entity with shares available for purchase. The German government wanted to ensure Volkswagen new owners were responsible. To ensure this, they passed a law known as Volkswagen Act. This legislation requires an 80% consensus in shareholders' meeting, preventing any one company from taking complete control of Volkswagen by acquiring 51% of its shares. The German government still retains 20.2% ownership when selling the company. Now let's turn the focus to Porsche, the designer behind the famous Volkswagen Beetle car. After spending time in prison for his involvement in crime against humanity in World War II, Ferdinand Porsche was determined to establish his own car brand and to make a profit through capitalism. His first car under the new brand was called Porsche 356, which was mainly constructed using recyclable parts from Beetle. Interestingly enough, Porsche outsourced most of its production to Volkswagen, leading to an economical independence between the two separate German car companies. However, in 1972, Porsche underwent a major change as it transitioned into a stock corporation. The previous owner, the Piëch and Porsche family, made the decision to step back from managing the business and instead appointed a new management team. This allows them to fulfill their roles through the supervisory board, which was chaired by Ferry Porsche for many years. However, this shift in structure did not come without challenges. And here comes along Porsche, wanting to take a hold of Volkswagen. But why? Porsche found its reliance on VW as a weakness for its strategic business development long term. The company then decided it's in their best interest and form of corporation would be to take control of the Volkswagen company that they relied on so heavily. They decided to start buying shares. They kept buying shares. In fact, they accidentally made Volkswagen the most valuable company in the world for a brief period in October 2008. The ultimate goal of Porsche was to own 75% of Volkswagen. With a Volkswagen Act in place, but they still needed 80% because the government owned 20.2%. However, this would give the access to Volkswagen cash flow, which they separately needed since there were 10 billion in debt from buying so much of Volkswagen. However, their plan was to pay off their debt by buying even more Volkswagen company. But then there was a problem. They only managed to buy up to 50%, so they had to find another way to pay off their debts. And then a genius plan arose. Porsche AG, the manufacturing business, the plan to pay off their debt was set in motion. Porsche SE, the holding company, sold Porsche AG to Volkswagen. The EU raised concern about the legalities of Volkswagen Act, which gave 80% voting rights to Volkswagen. This meant that this rule was no longer valid. Now Porsche SE Holdings hold the majority of shares in Volkswagen, and it also controlled it, whereas Volkswagen still owns Porsche AG as a result of paying off their debt. So this was a genius move by Porsche Holding Company to sell the automotive business to Volkswagen, a company that they owned the majority in. absolute genius move, and in doing so, they just paid off their own debt, because at that point, they pretty much owned the company, both companies. In 2011, Porsche and Volkswagen officially merged, with VW taking on the role as parent company for Porsche. Today, parts of Porsche Cayenne are produced at the Volkswagen Group factory in Bratislava, Slovakia. Since August 1st, 2012, Porsche is operated under the Volkswagen Group after acquiring the remaining shares from Dr. Inc. Porsche AG on August 13, 2009. This merger has created an integrated automotive group, fulfilling an agreement signed in multiple early years. This was a simplified look at the complex business of Porsche. So it turns out, whilst the Volkswagen Holding Group often gets the credit for owning various different brands, it is really Porsche who owns the Volkswagen Holding Group, which in turns simply means Porsche Holding owns Audi, Lamborghini, Volkswagen Automotive, Porsche Automotive, Bentley, Rimac, Bugatti, Ducati, Skoda, Seat, and Cupra. Porsche at the end of the day owns everything. I do hope you've enjoyed this video today. Thank you for watching. If there's any question, please leave them in the description below. Thank you for watching. Subscribe, leave a like, and share if you enjoyed it. I will see you in the next video.